So one thing I could definitely say I appreciate about this episode of Parasyte was it wasn't trying to pull one of those, oh my god, major death at the end of the episode, only for next week us to, just get sprung on that, oh, this person that we thought died is going to come back. The way they handled the Migi's death in this episode, with it being halfway through the episode, and while it still had a huge impact and it showcased the bond that Shinichi and Migi had created over the course of the series, at the same time, it wasn't lying to us as viewers that he's permanently dead. It did it halfway through the episode, so you're kind of like, normally a big deal like that would happen at the end of the episode, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that you see the cells little by little in his arm and everything, and then you also had that inner parasite that told Shinichi basically, yeah, he's not dead. So it wasn't trying to lie to us as, viewers. Oh yeah, he's dead. Whoops, my bad, we fucking played you. He's alive. So I'm really glad that it took that approach instead of just a typical like, oh, we, said he was dead, but he really wasn't. We just did that for shock value. And Parasyte doesn't need that. That's what I appreciate about a series, where it's like, it's not trying to play you just so that it could get a reaction out of you. It's legitimately being upfront. Yeah, he might have lost him now, but there's a big possibility he'll return at some given point. Now, this episode was yet again showcasing that Shinichi was just outclassed in every which way. Gotou had the advantage, and even with everything that they tried, Shinichi and Migi couldn't take him down. So it built him up as even more of a formidable threat than we previously had thought, with even Migi, being cornered and ultimately seemingly dying. And I think that that was one of the biggest things as well that it did, is not necessarily showcasing even that Gotou was, this big threat, which it did do that, but one of the big things I think that it did as well is it showcased the change in Migi. How he said, even though he's about to die, the thing that's overshadowing it all is that he's alone. And for something that prided itself on, I don't give a fuck about emotion, I don't give a fuck about friends, love, none of that shit, the fact that the one thing in his mind was that he was alone at that particular point showcased 150% the change in Migi, and that all the shit that he said, he don't give a fuck about this and that, he does care. At the very least, he cares about Shinichi a lot, to the point where he was sad and he kept on, please just go away, at least you can survive. And it's because he cared. And that showcased the development of their relationship as friends as well. And on Shinichi's side, of course, we got a little bit of that later on in the episode, but mainly on Migi, the thing that prided himself of, I don't give no fucks about no humans. Fuck you humans, yo, thug life. Ultimately, he was bullshitting. Now, the old lady thing kind of came off as a little bit random at first for me, to be honest with you. I was like, so some old lady in a cabin and she's hugging up on Shinichi. I don't know if maybe she has some ties to him or something, but it was just kind of a little random at first. And then ultimately it started to showcase, well, everyone needs a friend sometimes. And just seeing what Shinichi was going through at that time as well showcased what his idea was of what he had with Migi, which we kind of already knew for a while, that Shinichi did value Migi as a friend. And just kind of seeing him with one arm and everything and just being tragic about the whole situation, it showed that they developed a friendship. They developed like a human and a parasite, which both really weren't fond of each other, developed a bond. And that was definitely something that I felt was showcased in a really impactful way in this episode, without yet again trying to trick us as viewers into thinking, oh my god, he's dead, when really he isn't. And to be honest with you, this wasn't like a 10 out of 10 type of episode, but it was still very good, to a great somewhere along the lines of that, because it was upfront with us. It was honestly, I think the biggest things it was doing was showcasing yet again Gotou is a fucking monster and a half. You can't put him down with just mere tricks. Also, Migi has changed quite a bit, and we finally got confirmation of how he truly feels about Shinichi. Of course, a little bit more of Shinichi's thoughts and how he feels about it, and just kind of that they needed each other. And I think they would ideally be happy just living a normal life together as, friends and everything. And then also at the end of the episode, the transformation of Gotou, is it just me, or did he remind you of towards the end of his fight with Yusuke? I was just like, yeah, Tagoro, what you doing here, bruh? So yeah, maybe an 8.5 out of 10 for this episode to a 9. I'm kind of torn between the two. I think the way they handled Shinichi, like, thinking that he lost Migi, which again, we're under the assumption right now that he's supposedly dead, but at the same time, he could probably come back. I'm almost 100% sure he's gonna come back. The way it was handled and everything, it was like almost screaming, he's gonna come back, don't worry about it, you don't need to be sad right now. And just overall, enjoyment-wise, I love the shit out of it. Yeah, there was some parts that felt a little bit awkward, and ideally, I think maybe as a viewer, you would ideally want more impactful scenes like that towards the end of the episode. But again, I think it was better off the way they did it because I don't want to be lied to. I want to be upfront, and Parasyte did just that. They told you basically, nah, he ain't dead, but, you know, this is a defining moment in their relationship. But let me know what you guys thought of the episode. How did you feel about that? Do you truly think Migi will return? Did you feel sad about that? Do you appreciate the fact that they put that scene in the middle of the episode and were upfront? And did you guys appreciate the fact of the way they handled Migi's death, basically saying, you know what, he's not really dead, don't worry about it, he's gonna come back later. Your overall thoughts of the episode, but that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm Finette World, and as always, people, have an awesome day.